All right, guys. Tonight we're talking the dynasty value of Javonte Williams. As always, let's get a little baseline here by going over some trades. So, first one, Zeke and a 23 first or Javonte?
From a process standpoint, unless you think Javonte is a top 6 or 8, top 8 or better producer, I'm probably going with the package. And I know people will go, oh man, no way. But I think I'll take the package.
Yeah, I'm taking Zeke in the pick pretty handily. I don't know that Javonte Williams outproduces Zeke this year. And if he does, I don't know that it's going to be by a significant margin.
This is kind of a little bit of a tweak on one of our subscriber trades in the chats. DJ Moore and Cam Akers or Javonte Williams and a 23 second.
I like getting the extra second because I can play with that. Maybe I can buy, a veteran. I can buy like a Jarvis Landry, Adam Thielen if I wanted. Ultimately, though, I think if you can quote unquote downgrade at running back and essentially get DJ Moore for a second, I'm okay with it because we did a Cam Akers video and I think he has a chance with a good season to vault right up there with Javonte. Like if they have the same season, they're going to have similar value, I think, next year. So I think I'd still take DJ and Cam Akers.
Okay, what about Javonte Williams or David Montgomery and Hollywood Brown?
If you take the other package, you got to take this one. I'm on the fence with taking this one because Montgomery, I believe, is a much better running back than Scott gives him credit for.
Well, no, at first I like DJ Moore and Cam Akers better than David Montgomery. And I think Marquise Brown and DJ Moore are pretty close. But the fact there was a second in the other trade, there's not here. So, I mean, if you can really be agnostic, and how many times do I preach about, you got to kind of separate the names from the production. You're not given the second here, So I think you could still go with Montgomery and Marquise Brown, and you just say, I downgraded at running back, but I got a, top 20 receiver back. Right now, if you're doing a startup draft, you're probably overpaying for Breece Hall, Javonte Williams, Najee Harris, DeAndre Swift. Maybe not. Just depends on where they slot in, but you're probably overpaying for them relative to other guys that have overlapped range of outcomes with them. I would clearly take Javonte over the other guys we've talked about. Like we've done a Cam Akers video and we've talked some other running backs that are in a similar range. I'd clearly take him over them, but I also can acknowledge the fact that if he has another RB 18 season, he's no different than J.K. Dobbins or Cam Akers or, He's just right back in that range where all of a sudden he's going to be a third year, 23-year-old. Okay. He's probably not an elite running back. So we're going to be chasing the next big thing next year. And it's going to be, 4 rookie running backs next year are better than Javonte. If he's really good, he has the chance to be the RB 1 or 2 in Dynasty if he smashes. But if not, he probably just falls right back to the pack where you have right now, like Dobbins and Akers and Gibson and those guys that people are kind of off a little bit, or at least half the people in your league are kind of like, I don't really want to pay the market price. So he's being inflated. He's being inflated because he's young. There's also some bias kind of put into the fact that he had Melvin Gordon last year. We basically give Javonte a pass, even though he was a fringe top 24 running back last year. We give him a pass because he had this other guy next to him. And the narrative is just, well, wait till Melvin escapes. Melvin's not going to stay forever. But guess what? Next year with Melvin's gone, it could be another Melvin. It could be Leonard Fournette or somebody next year. Probably not going to be those specific guys, but it could be somebody else where the team goes, Javonte is always going to be a 60-40 running back, and he's going to score, 16 points a game. He could be the next Nick Chubb with better pass catching prowess. That's it. You don't want to pay up for that. You don't want to pay RB2, RB3, RB4 prices. So I like these ideas of these pivot off trades, but again, you could get burned by that trade. You could end up trading away Javonte for Ezekiel Elliott and the 111. Zeke completely washes out of the league. You gave up a guy that's valued as Jonathan Taylor next year, and you're holding the 111, which you're probably not going to be able to draft a good running back at the 111. So it just depends. I mean, it has to be fit team build. I'm not on Javonte in a startup because it costs too much. I'm probably looking to trade away the pick where I have to pick him because I can get a similar running back production-wise for 4 rounds cheaper. But on the open market, I had an offer the other day. I declined it. I got offered Javonte and a third for Breece Hall. I turned it down. But I can see the logic where if that was a 23 second or I swapped a second and a first, I'd take the Javonte side over Breece Hall. So I think I'd rather buy him on the open market just because the current running back market as a whole to buy the position is down. So if I wanted to buy a share, I probably would rather do it in a trade versus a startup.
I'm not looking to buy him. One good thing about him is if you hold him, I think his value is going to be fairly insulated because he has the Melvin Gordon excuse again this year. See, when I see that, in my brain goes, oh, Denver doesn't want him to be the lone wolf there. They want someone that can take 40 to 50% of the snaps with him. That's what I see when they bring Melvin Gordon back. Melvin Gordon's 29 or whatever he is, but he looked as good as he ever looked last year.
I think it's probably going to be more like 65-35, 60-40. I mean, I know that they brought Melvin back, but it's not like they brought him back on day one of free agency. It took like 2+ months to bring him back, and it wasn't money that makes you say like this is going to be a legitimate like 50-50 starter, you know? But I think he obviously moves into annoying enough of a handcuff, and also a handcuff that you want to have because you probably want to have somebody on that offense too. I'm not as negative on the situation as a lot of people are. They think it's just going to be, Javonte gets 12 touches a game, but I think it's going to be more like 65-35. But yeah, he doesn't have a high ceiling. He does not have a top 5 ceiling unless Melvin Gordon gets hurt.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Even at 65-35, like that's enough. That's a pretty significant cut.
Javonte Williams and a 24 first or Najee Harris.
See, I'd take the package, but I think it's a debate with Najee because the community sees Najee as an inferior player to Javonte. But now we're going into year 2 where you can probably project Najee for at least probably 4 to 5 touches a game more than Javonte, which is going to come out to maybe 75 or so on the season. And that's on the low end. I mean, that's assuming Javonte gets more work and Najee gets a little bit less. Like the rumors have it that his workload's going to be backed off a little bit, even though I still don't buy it because you look at their roster and you go, who's going to take the touches away? You're paying for the wrong thing there, because if you're paying for 19 points per game Najee Harris and 16 points per game Javonte Williams, it's not worth a first. If it's 22 points per game Najee Harris and 16 points a game Javonte Williams, then I'm easily giving it. So it's really, there's a real fine line there.
Javonte and a 2023 first or Jonathan Taylor?
You gotta get more back for Taylor. Taylor's the running back one. Yeah, you do, Scott. Yes, you do.
Got to, but you can't.
Then if you can't, then
you get declined on that trade. I'd say 95% of leagues, and it's for that exact reason. Maybe if you try that on opening day after Jonathan Taylor goes for 38 points, then you might be able to get it done. But right now, I think you get smash rejected every single time you send that trade.
Then I'm a hold.
What would you take there, Scott?
Oh, I'd take the package just because I net the 23 first.
Process.